This is one of the films that people just don't talk about in Clint's career.
There's a reason.
And I think there's a reason for this one. So go and watch Bronco Billy.
Clint Eastwood in one of the most incredible undercover operations in history, Firefox.
Welcome to Kyle and Dave vs. Machine Video Edition. Steely faces, grit our teeth. We're talking about Firefox. What I think about when I think about Clint Eastwood, it's international super spy. My theory, and the thing I bring up on our episode with Jay from Dirty Harry Minute, Clint, a few times throughout his career, in his early career, like through the 70s into the 80s, really tried to make a spy film work where he was in the lead. And each time, I think it failed. I do Angry Man good, and I do Western well.
Let's get back to Angry Westerns.
I'm a fan of his directorship. And we've talked about in the past how I think Eastwood has a very narrow set of skills as far as an actor goes.
Not a one of you think I have a chance in the world of pulling this off.
But I think he broadly knows that and is able to lean into that really, really well. And is why he's had a presence for over 60 years in film. But I'm jumping the gun here a little bit. What did you think about Firefox?
Boring. I think we talk about the sacrilege of noting that Clint Eastwood's not actually a very good actor.
Can you fly that plane? Yeah, I can fly it.
He's just deadpan through the whole thing, even though he's put himself in such a stressful situation.
And I think there's jokes that are supposed to be happening, but they don't really land, I don't think, 100%.
And some of the story beats and the espionage thriller, some of the heisty moments are actually kind of cool. There's even Mission Impossible stuff, fixing faces, but he can't pull it off. And I just can't go with him on this journey.
Maybe it would have worked if someone else was cast in that role, at least a little bit better.
Yeah.
Because the directing that he does is actually pretty good.
Yeah,
it's good.
okay.
It's not like one of his best jobs, but it's like, it's
you
decent.
get a little tension. Yeah, there's a very impactful scene where part of his heist, someone is brutally murdered that he's been impersonating. And you're like, whoa, where did that come from? There's moments like that which could shock and compel you to continue on this weird story. But then there's also shit writing where they're like, we're selecting you even though you have PTSD because you are the exact size and build of a secret Russian pilot. We found an arms dealer who looks exactly like you except with a mustache. So we're going to use that as a cover.
A lot of like convenient
stupid
plot points and stuff like that. It also does one of my little, I don't know, things that bug me that probably don't bug anyone else. So wait, is he supposed to be speaking Russian now?
Oh yeah.
Are they all speaking in English?
He kept flipping between the two because he could do like single word responses.
I think what we're meant to believe is that he is speaking Russian and the Russians are actually speaking Russian back to him. But then sometimes the Russians are speaking in Russians. Pick one. Is this what I'm asking you to do?
What they should do is like invert it. So once he's speaking Russian, whenever they are supposed to speak back in English, that should be in Russian.
You just blew my mind.
The other thing that's really dumb is why is there a neural link?
Thought-guided, thought-controlled.
Yeah, it never really comes into play. They're based on a book, again, by a writer that I have now forgotten what his name is. He's considered one of the people of the techno-thriller genre, one of the innovators of the techno-thriller genre.
Arguably with Tom Clancy.
So I'm sure it makes so much more sense in the book.
Must play a bigger role.
And they go into it, like him, what he's thinking and how that impacts the play. And visually, I don't think that ever comes across. Honestly, most of the episode, I am the evangelist of a movie that Mr. Clint Eastwood made before this movie called Bronco Billy, which nobody has seen since it came out in 1980.
In Calgary, we say Yahoo!
I'm a yeehaw person, and don't you forget it. Go watch Bronco Billy. Don't watch this movie. I think Bronco Billy is in need of a rediscovery, and reevaluated as a film.
Sounds like it. And then the other thing is they do this revolutionary blue screen technique for the airplanes. I honestly thought it looked fucking terrible. It just reminded me too much of Christopher Reeve's Superman, which had the exact same movement on the screen when Superman's flying, and it doesn't move like a plane. So as soon as the super jets go out, I'm like, oh wow, I saw this in what's Superman, 1976 or 78,
I think is the first one.
So not that innovative.
You also have to put it into perspective, like 2 years before this, Empire came out. The year after is Return of the Jedi. I know I'm comparing something that had like way bigger budgets, but at the same time, like that is like amazing special effects.
Stuff.
This is one of the films that people just don't talk about in Clint's career.
There's a reason.
And I think there's a reason for this one. So go and watch Bronco Billy.
No disrespect to Clint Eastwood as a Hollywood mogul. You've made some, because you're watching this.
Of course he is. 92-year-old Clint Eastwood is like
in a wheelchair.
Give me my YouTube.
Made some amazing films. And when he plays into his strengths as an actor, he's great and very magnetic, but not in this film.
Unfortunate. Don't forget that you can comment down below. I'm sure you've done that already. You can, of course, subscribe to us here. Go and listen to our full podcast.
I don't think anyone's watching a video on Firefox, frankly. There's going to be very low
Watch this
engagement.
be like the most like highest views. Like, what are you talking about? Everyone loves Firefox. Best one they ever made.
It's got jets.
Next week we are going to be doing
Swamp Thing.
Swamp Thing.
With an A.
With
We
an
just
A.
went urban.
Swamp
on it.
Thing.
Swamp Thing. All right, let's go take a bath in a swamp.
Just fly the damn plane.
No one's talked about this movie in 40 years.
Billy
All right.
Jack's been virulent. We offended so many baby boomers with that video. It's unbelievable.
And we're in New York next week. I could pull 1,000 random people and they would not know what Billy Jack is. I
Well,
guarantee you.
If they're in their 50s, they will.
Maybe he's like, Billy Jack, best movie ever made. Best movie of the 70s.